Maxi, that is sport for your Thursday.
Thank you, Alissa. It's time to check finance now. And Angela Cox, our share market continued its losing streak.
Yes, new data out of the UK and the US poured more cold water on hopes of imminent rate cuts. The ASX 200 closing down 47 points. The biggest losses in materials, energy and real estate stocks. The Aussie dollar is buying less than 66 US cents. Iron ore prices dropped. And Australians are becoming increasingly worried about retirement. A new survey revealing only 20% are confident they'll have enough money to self-fund their retirement, down from 25%. 50% say they are worried they won't have enough money to stop working when they plan to, with 14% worried they'll never be able to retire.
Thanks, Ange. Samsung has unveiled its latest weapon, showcasing artificial intelligence for the first time in history, while its competitor Apple has suffered a serious blow after a US court banned the sale of its latest watches.
It's Apple's most advanced watch, but it's running on borrowed time and possibly stolen technology. Apple's Series 9 and Ultra 2 models boast a blood oxygen feature, but according to biotech company Massimo, it's been copied from their patented technology.
It's unusual to see Apple put into this position.
It's now been banned from stores across the US.
To get around this ban, Apple is expected to remove the blood oxygen feature from its watches. But don't worry, devices sold here in Australia and elsewhere outside the US aren't expected to be impacted.
As Apple strips its shelves, its biggest competitor is stacking them. Samsung entering the era of AI, launching its latest smartphone series, the Galaxy S24, with real-time voice translations and circle-to-search technology.
All the features are amazing, yeah.
It's more advanced. Samsung's move here is going to attract, I think, a lot of iPhone users away from Apple.
But the top tech doesn't come cheap. The new Samsung starts at $1,400 and no sign of Apple winding back the price of its timepieces either. Lucy McLeod, 7 News.
Melbourne homeowners have woken to find cows grazing in their front yards. The herd of about 50 escaped from a farm in the early hours of the morning and headed towards suburbia. They travelled 8 kilometres. The owner eventually tracked them down and took them home. Now let's take a look at what's on Sunrise tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Tomorrow on Sunrise, new year, new skin, the affordable face mask that's winding back the clock. What you need to know before trying it out at home.
That felt pointed. Plus, the Aussie kids refusing to go back to school. A former principal's new advice to help struggling families. See you in the morning, Queensland.
Helping families beat the back-to-school cost crunch. How you can get free uniforms and book packs this weekend.
And how's the weather looking for the last few days of school holidays? I'll have the forecast and latest storm warnings next.
She's the selfless single mum helping struggling families beat the back-to-school budget blowout. Prue Burke has provided thousands of Redcliffe kids with free uniforms and books, and now she's about to help out even more.
This is the coalface of the cost of living crunch. Redcliffe's free Blackbird clothing exchange, a lifeline for local families.
How do you actually survive? How do you put food on the table? How do you buy clothes for your kids? How do you pay your bills?
Let alone afford back-to-school necessities. Single mum of 4, Prue Burke, knows the struggle and is answering the call. Her charity providing free school books and uniforms to Redcliffe kids in need.
This year we're expecting around between 250 to 300 families to come and get assistance.
The Booklist Day will run from 9 to 12 this Saturday morning at the Clontarf Breakfast Club. The funds raised through GoFundMe to buy the supplies. Anyone who needs a hand to get their kids' school ready is welcome.
I think it's the time where people need to speak up and just say, look, I am struggling. I need this help.
In the past 8 years, Prue has helped more than 8,000 families. The exchange has now grown so big. Next month, they'll move to a new premises.
So we'll be able to extend the services we offer. We'll be able to offer our free local school uniforms every single day.
Prue's also starting a free wedding dress hire service to help struggling brides. To her, it's not work, but but a labour of love.
It was always a struggle, so if I can help other people not go through what I went through, more than happy.
Samantha Heathwood, 7 News.
Weather now, Tony, what's the latest on today's storms?
Well, Max, it held off for most of the day in the southeast as those storms built inland, and this evening we are getting the tail end of that activity. Thundery rain spreading towards the coast with some bigger cells staying through those inland parts. Warnings remain current for heavy rain west of Ipswich, with the main threat in these red areas here, mainly around Boonah and also up towards Kilcoy. A steamy old night and day with minimums in the mid-20s and tops in the low to mid-30s, but both of those felt much hotter with all of that humidity. Zooming out, storms extend back across the Darling Downs and Maranoa and Warrego this evening, with plenty of activity in the tropics too, and warnings again for several areas across the state. Mainly heavy rain. We could see some pockets of damaging wind gusts too. Onto the forecast chart, the trough that triggered today's storms, well, that hangs around into tomorrow, so it will stay hot and humid with a few more showers and storms in the southeast, and not much change with this low pressure system up in the Coral Sea. There's still a high chance of it becoming a cyclone in coming days, and it could still impact the Queensland coast mid to late next week. Now, we should be able to start narrowing down that forecast path in coming days. Around the nation tomorrow, sunshine in Sydney, Canberra and Adelaide, tops in the high 20s. For northern Queensland, monsoonal storms persist for Mount Isa and Weipa. We can call it rain with possible heavier storms in Cairns, and Mackay should dry up. Over southern districts, another round of storms after tonight's activity clears, mostly on the ranges and inland. They should struggle to reach the Capricornia and Wide Bay, but they will be pushing close to these areas. In the southeast, more drops of rain on the roof for the next few hours, then mostly dry in the morning before another round of showers and inland storms into tomorrow afternoon. Some pockets of heavy rain are possible here and there. Staying steamy tonight and tomorrow. 24 up to 33 degrees in North Lakes, make that 32 at Ferny Grove. Bodie's north-northwest winds on Moreton Bay to start. They'll swing northeast into the afternoon. So in Brisbane, after tonight's rain clears, well, it should be mostly clear in the morning before another round of showers and a possible rumble after lunchtime. 24 tonight, then back up to 33 degrees. Looking further ahead, that unsettled weather lasts overnight and through most of Saturday, a slightly cooler maximum of 30. In Ipswich, 31 Saturday, then heating up again from Sunday as skies clear, 35 degrees, then up to 37 on Monday. Gold Coasters, skies also clearing on Sunday, a good chance to get the kids outside to finish the holidays, 31 degrees. And on the Sunshine Coast, the odd shower possible mid next week, but staying dry for the most part, with tops in the low 30s. Max, it's back to you.
Thanks, Tony. Well, before we go, here's a look at a special report we have for you tomorrow night.
In 7 News, back to school, but without the phones. Queensland's mandatory mobile ban for students.
It may take some time for it to be fully implemented.
How will it work? What to expect? Are schools ready? And what about smartwatches? Everything parents and students need to know. 7 News at 6.
And that's all from us this Thursday. Thanks for your company. Updates throughout the evening, but for now, from all the team, have a good night.